I mean, journalist भनेबित्तिकै खादीको कुर्ता, चप्पल फाटेको कुर्ता, झोला बोकेको.
Thank God I didn't wear my kurta. Yeah, you're literally body shaming me. Sometimes.
Absolutely. I have always been bullied for being slightly affirmative in my character, right?
How
Ask
about
about Hira Mandi.
You want to go there?
No, I'm just kidding.
Debbojan.
Because politicians and media चाहिन्छ हैन अनि जर्नलिजमलाई पोलिटिकल न्यूज चाहिन्छ एउटा यस्तो टाइम थियो जब कि हाम्रो सिक्किममा केही ठुलो घटना भयो त्यो न्यूज चाहिँ नेशनल मिडिया दिल्लीमा चाहिँ जान देखाउनुको लागि चाहिँ लाइक it was like next to impossible. If you ask me what is that thing which you don't again want to report in your journalism career is the 2011 disaster of earthquake and flood. I don't want
त्यो खालके coverage again.
no. Never.
So you were saying when I was most पढ्दाखेरि नि my biggest fear was केटी जस्तो भन्छ भनेर क्या यसरी पनि बस्दिन थिएँ क्या म I had to sit like this हुन्छ नि the man spread क्या त
And every morning I used to wake up with this comment saying like chhakka hi jada Sikkim Chronicle भन्नेबित्तिकै more people wanted to know about the politics in Sikkim. Although we do cover like Darjeeling issues, I think what I feel is like Pokso was happening like in our society, but was not getting reported.
Or Khans, which one do you prefer?
Irfan Khan.
Oh my God!
I think that was the totally wrong decision which I was taking up during the discourse of my finding my orientation. Right. I reported Lonark Lake expansion way back in 2013.
Really?
Yes. One day I realized that what was missing on me was like the dance.
When we speak of journalism in our region, there is one name that must always be mentioned, and that name is Nirmal Mangar. Nirmal Mangar is not just known amongst a certain section of audience, but his popularity transcends age groups. And the main reason is not just the fact that he maintains integrity and he believes in the old-fashioned way of doing journalism, which is going down right at the grassroots level. All of these, which he excels at, but it's also because of the fact that he is India's only dancing journalist. Of course, I don't mean to limit Nirmalji's contribution to Sikkim and the larger region by confining him with the word journalist. But then, it's an art that he has absolutely excelled at. And today we would like to request you all to join us on this journey of discovering Nirmalji's struggles, Nirmalji's triumphs, and how he went on to build one of the region's first independent media houses known as Sikkim Chronicles. No, I was thinking of this really nice line to start with. Hear it out ल इन्डियाले धेरै खालको पत्रकार देख्यो अरे क्या हो कालिने पत्रकार देख्यो अरे हैन पैसा खाने पत्रकार कति सिद्धान्तवादी पत्रकार हो सो I'm sure there are some that you look up to.
And you'll introduce me as a dancing journalist.
Yes. How did you guess?
I don't mind.
That
is true.
The only dancing journalist of India. Would you say that? I can't think of any other.
You haven't seen any other journalists dancing?
Are they?
They dance. On the tip of politicians.
Just I'll
be taken out from Press Council of India like. After this interview.
एउटा के भन्छ मान्छेको त्यो एउटा mood है mood of the nation. Yeah. Well, not the nation but mood of the state.
Yeah.
सँग तपाईको एउटा राम्रो परिचय छ भनौं न. मलाई यति मात्रै सोध्नु थियो कि with regard to the new party that was formed, right? CAP, right? How much of traction are they getting? They seem to be getting.
I think Citizen Action Party एउटा इम्पोर्टेन्ट कम्पोनेन्ट थियो यो पालिको के भन्छ इलेक्सनमा किन भन्दाखेरि the leader of the party is a descendant like leader who have come from SDF नि त.
That's what we keep hearing.
Mr. Ganesh Rai है अनि उहाँहरूले एउटा चाहिँ सिटिजन एक्सन पार्टीको राम्रो मैले एज अ जर्नलिस्ट अब्जर्भेसन गरेको भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ द ग्राफ आई मिन लाइक द वे दे टुक अप लाइक आई मिन पिकअप गरे नि जुन प्रकारले द्याट वाज रियली लाइक फास्ट.
They are very good on social media, which I really like.
They are good on social media and because what I feel is like what we discuss election or whatever issues maybe without social media we cannot imagine of
Absolutely.
that. Okay, na भन्नुस् त किनभने social media plays a very important and
This is the new
interesting.
politics, yeah.
This is the new politics, right? So मलाई लाग्छ कि cap knew it and capitalized it more. Like it's not that कि अरू पार्टीले गरेन, BJP was also equally good. You know how BJP IT cell works, right?
BJP brought about this revolution, भनौँ न.
Exactly, because 2014 को BJP ले government form गर्नुको कारण नै थियो the IT which they used in a very appropriate way, right? So त्यही फन्डालाई चाहिँ अहिले सबै political partyले अपनाएको छ.
I mean, Darjeeling, we saw Hamro party with Ajay Edwards doing it. Do you follow Darjeeling politics? I mean, just...
I interviewed Ajay Edwards, like, you know, I think 2 years back, talking about, like, you know, I mean, his political career and about his party. We do follow, but we are so mostly busy with the Sikkim politics.
Keeps you guys busy,
because Sikkim Chronicle, more people wanted to know about the politics in Sikkim. Although we do cover, like, you know, Darjeeling issues, it's not that we don't, but the major events or the major political developments are हामी cover गर्छ.
No. I mean, we see with, you know, it's not just that you cover, it's the depth with which you cover that really
Exactly.
COVID ko समयमा पनि तपाईले, no, I have to get back to the politics, not that I'm letting you off it, okay? But COVID ko time I mean, that's when we first heard about Nirmal Mangar, by the way. And not just me. You know, my dad, when I told him कि Nirmal ji is coming, आउँदैछ अरे भन्दै थियो क्या. You became really popular as a guy who went down, हुन्छ नि क्या. I mean, was it something that, I mean, not that I'm suggesting that you're doing this just for the views, right? But how much of it was also the pain of seeing, you know, fellow citizens suffer? Yeah,
it was like very terrible. अब किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ the thing was like I know you know, I mean the time now everyone says like COVID मा घरमा बस्दाखेरि यो भयो त्यो भयो यस्तो भयो हैन, but मेरो experience मा चाहिँ I have no sense and no experience of like being at home, because on toes we were like traveling and हाम्रो priority नै के थियो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ to give the right factual and the first hand information.
Of course.
Because what as a responsible media we thought was like, you know, what people need is not the sensationalism, right? Not the sensationalism, but the information which would, like, you know, help them, like, you know, understand the news and the issues in a more better way. अब यस्तो सिचुएसनहरु पनि थियो जसमा चाहिँ कि the family members were calling us and saying कि मेरो wife खसेको छ and hospital मा छ, body निकाल्छ अनि crematorium मा लान्छ, but I cannot go, my children can't go because we are in a this के भन्छ COVID लागेर हामीलाई चाहिँ उसमा राखिदिएको छ, what was that word, quarantine मा राखेको छ. Okay, so I've seen that, like, you know, I went and I mean like they were requesting us क्या हो अब गयो कोही पनि छैन, then bodyलाई निकाल्दै गरेको, then crematorium मा लगेको, the way they were, like, you know, burning the bodies and I think COVID has come as a big lesson, don't you think that?
Of course.
For the entire human existence.
Of course.
Right? And it has taught us so many things, right? From being resilient, from, I think, to care about our nature, environment. I think these are the messages which transpired. And I still remember people getting panic and people getting, like, you know, having this mental issues, mental health issues, being at home, right? And the only way they could get the information was a few handful of media persons who were on ground, who were, like, you know, visiting the COVID centers and talking with the administration, trying to bring all the facts.
Was administration helpful at that time?
Administration was really helpful for us
because it seems to be the normal thing to see these days, isn't it? Yeah, to sort of, you know, administration. This is what even Keshav Daju, as we were discussing earlier, he was telling us about the state's response during crisis, like not just COVID, but also the recent GLOF. There's a lot that the administration actually does.
Exactly.
That gets sort of, you know, sometimes when people want to sort of criticize, we tend to forget that, both in academics as in journalism. So you're saying the administration was quite helpful at that point of time?
Administration was helpful because without administration, I think the planning would not have come to an implementation, right? Administration is not pitch perfect, Nita.
Of course not.
There are flaws. There are things which they don't do in a right way. After COVID ko time ma एउटा notification issue हुन्थ्यो and again second day that notification used to be withdrawn, right? And it used to face so much of public flack नि त हैन. So but I think administration ko role ramroi थियो when it comes in terms of the state of Sikkim, right? And more than that, it was so good to see the human resilience. क्या मतलब people coming out to help each other, contributing. अनि त्यो चाहिँ सबभन्दा मैले अझै बढी चाहिँ recent ग्लफ जुन भएको थियो October 3rd 4th मा. I mean I trekked all the way like uphill to reach Chungthang because the entire like this road was like washed away. So when we were climbing uphill, there is a small village in Jangu area. Jangu is a restricted like area, like म छक्कै परेको मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ नि and I was with this Indian Reserve Battalion Jawans and all and we were trekking like carrying our luggage and all हैन ब्यागहरु बोकेर जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ नि काक्राहरु काटेर चाहिँ नि अब घरको बाहिर राख्दिएको पानीहरु राख्दिएको बोतलमा हालेर and घरमा मान्छे छैन है उनीहरु चाहिँ they have gone to a relief camp to cook the food, right? तर उनीहरु त्यसरी and that's I think even I did a report on this and I think what matters eventually, whether it may be a natural disaster or whether it may be a catastrophe like COVID-19, human resilience is so important to keep us motivated and encouraged. That is so important. मलाई त्यो लाग्यो मतलब every incident, every news like gives a new lesson to us as a journalist also.
No, I mean I'll tell you something. When I was asking about you to some of my friends and like to get their feedbacks. Question त चाहियो नि त हैन एउटा तपाईलाई अप्ठ्यारो पार्नु त हैन
no it's okay.
So most of them the one thing that all of them said was they really like the kind of reach you have, the depth you have भनौं न, that you are not just somebody comfortable
Look, I think the narrative of journalism has completely changed in present situation.
Well said
because when I started as a news reader for the local television, then I joined one of the leading newspapers.
Which one was it, by the way?
That was Nayuma, and I was in school when I started reading news.
Don't tell me. Really?
Yes. Then
did you get paid pocket money? Sorry.
Yeah, I used to get 8,000, and it was like
8,000 in school.
8,000 was like my god, like
Then बाउ gave me 25 रुपैयाँ. But anyway.
हो नि त्यति बेला 8,000 भनेको त अहिले कति हो अहिलेको 18-20,000 हो नि हैन अब त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मैले घरमा कहिले पनि पकेट मनी सो मेरो लाइफमा चाहिँ कहिले पनि त्यो फेज आएन त्यो अनइम्प्लोयमेन्ट लामो के गर्नुपर्ने बिकज आई वाज अलवेज लाइक आई न्यू इट लाइक आई एम गोइङ टु बी अ जर्नलिस्ट सिन्स स्कुल डेज सो मतलब आई appeared for the audition हैन त्यहाँदेखि सेलेक्ट भयो त्यहाँदेखि and I was the first news reader for the channel which was newly launched हैन then 2005 मा after my graduation I joined Sikkim Express, one of the leading newspaper. Sikkim Express join गरे. So अहिले आएर चाहिँ के भएको छ हामीले जब जर्नलिजम सुरु गर्यो नि त्यति बेला it was more about your passion, right? It was more about your a vision of contributing to the society through news telling. तर अहिले चाहिँ के भएको छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ news rooms has been taken over by the corporate giants.
Even in Sikkim, would you say that?
Thankfully, there is no corporate houses in Sikkim, and किनभने सिक्किममा newspaper को revenue generation is highly dependent on the government ads, right? त्यहाँदेखि except for a few pharma companies, we don't have a giant corporate, and I think Sikkim so far चाहिँ यो कुरोबाट चाहिँ अहिले नै अलुफ छ है.
Then sorry, go on please.
But thanks to this new disruption in the news industry which we call the digital news media, right? Because I think अहिलेसम्म अब यसलाई रेगुलेट त भन्दैन म यसलाई अब कुनै पनि एक्ट अन्डर नलागेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि I think now this digital media is emerging as one of the fastest growing medium of telling a good news and stories.
So that seems really interesting what you say, because if you think about it, Amro Ravish Kumar, when he leaves NDTV, when he leaves NDTV, he starts his own social media news channel, right? So that means social media, like Sikkim Chronicles, has the liberty, freedom to do what it wants to.
Look, what I'm saying is it's not about the face. Yes, face does matter, but what public wants is what kind of content you are giving to the public. That is more important.
Absolutely.
Cinema ma हेर्नुस् न अहिले you don't need Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan to make your film hit. Nowadays content is the hero. So that same applies in news also, Nita.
Absolutely.
News ma tapaile if you are bringing about issues which concerns public related issues haru tapaile ल्यायो भने definitely your viewers are not going to go anywhere. Okay. unfortunately, I cannot say this same thing for the news channels, right? Mainstream news channels.
Absolutely.
I know. So, एउटा यस्तो टाइम थियो जब कि हाम्रो सिक्किममा केही ठुलो घटना भयो, त्यो न्युज चाहिँ नेसनल मिडिया दिल्लीमा चाहिँ जान देखाउनुको लागि चाहिँ लाइक it was like next to impossible because like they were so dominant in the media industry, right? हाम्रोमा यहाँनिर बस लडेर 25 जना मान्छे मर्यो भने पनि that would never made headlines, but दिल्लीमा एउटा बाँदर मन्दिरमाथि चढ्यो, घरको माथि चढ्यो भने that would be a breaking news, and that's a bitter truth, right, of journalism. But I'm so grateful and like I'm so thankful that the digital era digital intervention le garदाखेरि चाहिँ the news telling has been really difficult, although there are many challenges, but I think
I'm going to come to the challenges, and this is taking from one of the questions that we had put up, that whole ask your questions, and as you'd understand there were a few questions,
exactly,
right? So one of them, यही कुरा तपाईले यही सन्दर्भमा यो कुरा लेखेको नि मैले, you are saying कि there is no corporate but there is government hands. So how much of a role does politicians play with news and news outlets in Sikkim? Is there is there if you don't mind me saying, a possibility of politicians influencing certain news outlets and journalists?
Look, why only Sikkim? I mean, this is a phenomenon which goes like in every states of India at least. अब म foreign को त कुरा गर्न सक्दिनँ हैन, इन्डियामै हेर्यो भने त यो phenomenon त छ नि त, किनभने journalism and politics are the two sides of the same coin. It depends on each other, like because politicians like media चाहिन्छ हैन, अनि journalism like political news चाहिन्छ हैन. तर what I'm saying here is that what and where you draw the line is very, very important. Okay. Right? किनभने digital media को लागि चाहिँ I think the biggest challenge is the sustainability.
Of course.
Because यस्तो हुन्छ नि, जस्तै अब news channel, newspaper हरुमा त corporate houses हरुले ad दिइहाल्छ, उनीहरुको sustainability मा केही पनि उयो हुँदैन, challenges हुँदैन नि. तर as a digital media हैन, as a digital company थुप्रो challenges चाहिँ first केमा आउँछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ sustenance, and how does a digital house gets sustained is through a perennial source of revenue नि त.
Of course.
That is more important नि त.
Of course.
हैन? So मलाई के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यहाँ चाहिँ मान्छेले बुझ्नु पर्छ कि if you want free fair media, then public should come and support. अहिले त अब subscription model सुरु भएको छ. The Quint, थुप्रो
the print
and all, they have started. So if you really want a free and fair news, then public should come and support.
No, that's a very good and interesting thing that you bring up. Well, I just heard the same thing said by Prashanti Kishore, the very that Bihar ko context mein bhande the nahi. I know it's a little different from what you're saying, but he's also saying the same thing. Yeah, that you want a corruption-free government, then stop voting by get paisa nahi de vote na garanta. Then the person won't be corrupt. Right. So you want free media, then you subscribe and help us.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look, sustenance the eventually the bread and butter ko कुरा हो नि त, हैन? Eventually आएर त bread and butter को कुरा आउँछ नि त, हैन? Livelihood को कुरा आउँछ नि त. So I think until and unless people doesn't come out and support the free independent media houses, you're not going to get the news which you are hoping and expecting, like the there used to be a time, remember, exposes, Tehelka, used to do so much of exposes and all. Askal huncha? Hundaina ni.
Of course not.
Because the corporate giants have taken over journalism. Absolutely. And look, I'm not acting to be very holy out here, but this is a bitter truth and we have to live with it and we have to accept it, the fact.
Of
course. This हामीले accept गर्नु सक्नु पर्यो नि त.
Then how does Sikkim Chronicles function?
Thankfully, when we started, our journey is very interesting of Sikkim Chronicle because I am one of the victims of demonetization. Because of demonetization, I was working with the Telegraph and there was a huge layoff. And I became one of the victims because I worked for 5 years as a Sikkim correspondent. Then my other partner, who now is no more into journalism, he's into politics now.
That takes away one question I was about to ask you.
Let's come to that. And my other vernacular, journalist friend Kavita, we thought now everything is shifting from, shifting to digital. Movie ko ticket tapile online book गर्दैछ, cab tapile online book गर्दैछ, वाइ जर्नलिजम चाहिँ एउटा ट्रेडिसनल मेथड फलो गर्ने, वाइ जर्नलिजमले चाहिँ डिजिटल इन्टरभेन्सन नलिने भनेर चाहिँ एटलिस्ट सिक्किममा चाहिँ अरू जग्गामा बिस्तारै बिस्तारै इभल्भ हुँदै थियो. एन्ड आई सेड लाइक मेरो काम पनि गइरहेको होइन. सो माई फ्रेन्ड हु वाज डुइङ हिज पिएचडी इन एन्थ्रोपोलोजी फ्रम एनबियू. ओके,
What's his name?
Yogen Tamang. So he was there.
Okay, yeah, I know.
So he said like, come on, let's start something like, you know, which we could do digitally in terms of news. त्यहाँदेखि हामीले सुरु गर्यो. And you mark my words, like, you know, we started with 2-room office.
Yeah, okay.
And that too with the crowdfunding.
Oh wow.
In kind, not in cash. Someone is giving us के भन्छ चिया पकाउने त्यो kettle. Someone is giving us like computer. Someone is giving us chair. Someone is giving us like, you know, carpet. This is how we started, you know. Like we never thought, because at that point of time when we started Sikkim Chronicle, it was all about passion and passion to tell the good news. Okay, राम्रो news हामीले दिनुपर्छ. And we didn't have like a good infrastructure like cameras and all. We were totally into mojo, mobile journalism. Right?
Oh shit, that's what mojo means.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
It's a mojo.
Listen, you're millennial like I am, so don't even pretend.
Not at all. So then what happened भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यहाँदेखि चाहिँ somewhere someone was observing us, and like, you know, there is this you must be knowing Azim Premji.
Of course.
Azim Premji. Azim Premji has one foundation, Independent Media Spirited Foundation.
Achha.
And they just started foundation to support the digital media in different states. And for the last 1 year, they were following our like activities, and their team had come and inquired about us, and we had no idea on this.
Okay.
And one day we get an email and a call saying that Independent Spirited Media Foundation under Azim Premji Foundation would like to support you for 3 years with the grant. Grant.
My God.
That's not an investment. It's a grant.
It's a grant.
Okay? Then we were called in Bangalore, and like we had an interview and everything, right? Then luckily we got the grant for 3 years, and it was more than enough for us to build up our infrastructure, then build up our human resource. I know. At least I'm logistically, I'm well equipped by you. So then this is how it became, and I feel so proud because there was a news portal, but we, Sikkim Chronicle, became the first, like, you know, digital media which got incorporated as a company, and we started telling the visual stories in Sikkim.
I met Gayatri Pradhan yesterday, the girl who got AIR, I mean, the lady who got All India rank 52, yeah. So, she told me something very interesting, yeah. There's a whole business of your education coaching going on, and she said ki without doing anything, she just wanted to clear it, and she started preparing by herself. Now, I hear you saying ki he wanted to start a journalism house, and you did it just by crowdfunding. So, so the big lesson for...
We did not take any loan, we didn't ask any investors to invest, we just started with the crowdfunding. That too, like crowdfunding from our near and dear ones.
So, himmate marda to madad khuda.
Exactly.
So that's the big lesson, I guess, that goes out to all the young people in Sikkim and Darjeeling, that you mana na, इच्छा गर न, लाइक ग्रान्टहरु पनि त पाइहाल्दो रहेछ.
अब यस्तो थियो कि हाम्रो टाइममा चाहिँ लाइक वी नेभर थट एन्ड लाइक इट वाज नट प्रोसेस्ड, यु नो. मैले भने नि खालि प्यासन थियो अनि एभ्रिथिङ फेल इन राइट प्लेस एट द राइट टाइम हो. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ वाट इट टट अस इज लाइक फोकस अन वाट यु आर डुइङ, रेस्ट विल फलो यु.
नाउ द्याट यु सेड हाम्रो टाइम
means we are Buddha.
Are you have no idea how difficult it is to interview Gen Z.
I'm not going to reveal my age, by the way.
No, I'm not going to ask you to. But which school did you go to? And when did you graduate?
At least.
No, graduate, forget about school.
I went to Kidikhang. It's like a public school.
Yeah.
After that, I did my this class 12 from Tashinam Gill Senior Secondary School. Okay. Then by the way, I'm also a North Bengal University alumni. त्यहाँदेखि चाहिँ मैले के भन्छ BSc मा गरे, जियोलोजी मा गरे.
Is this still when NBU had, I mean, Tadung was affiliated to NBU. This is before Sikkim University.
Before Sikkim University, because Sikkim University was established in 2007. And I graduated before that. Two years before that.
Okay, before I get into
Sikkim.
You revealed your age, I didn't. So anyway.
I think these kids were not born,
You guys were born 2007? You were not born 2007? Really?
She was not born.
2007 मा त आम्बो गर्लफ्रेन्ड भएर फर्स्ट ड्रिङ्क पनि गरिसकेको थिएँ म. You guys are literally my children. अच्छा, So before we go any further into this, okay, before we, I also want to get into a little bit of Sikkim University, okay, but before that, was journalism something you were always passionate about? You were saying school like in your news
I
reading.
was always
Sure.
I was always interested in journalism, because at that point of time, journalism was a profession where in which people were the parents were not much interested, right? Because एउटा allied career journalism हुन्छ भने थिएन हाम्रो टाइममा के थियो, you remember साइन्स लियो कि डक्टर हुआ कि इंजिनियर हुआ, and
You
even
remember,
and
right?
even तपाईँले आर्ट्स लियो भने you were treated like as if you are
you have no idea,
ostracized, मतलब तपाईँ आर्ट्सको ह्युम्यानिटिजको हो देन डोन्ट कम नियर टु अस खालको त्यो थियो नि त। एन्ड साइन्स इज लाइक क्रिम अफ द स्कुल होइन, त्यो थियो नि त। डिस्प्यारिटी थियो कि थिएन हाम्रो टाइममा?
आर्ट्स,
I'm not arts, I'm science.
Oh god damn. Oh. Okay, anyway.
Right.
I'm arts.
त्यो थियो नि त। तर जर्नलिजमलाई चाहिँ एज अ करियर पनि बनाउनु सक्छ भन्ने चाहिँ थिएन। इभन माई पेरेन्ट्स दे सेड नानी ग्रेजुएसन गर्नु, यताउता गएर गभर्मेन्टमा लागिहाल्नु, लाइक मस्टर रोलमा भए पनि एडकमा भए पनि, द्याट वाज दि। अब यो युट्युब बाट पैसा पाउँछ भन्ने कुरो त युट्युब त थिएन एक्जिस्टेन्समा।
मस्टर रोल वुड मिन अस्थायी
अनि के भन्छ युट्युबबाट पैसा कमाउँछ भन्ने कुरो त थिएन, बिकज युट्युब त थिएन पनि हैन। वी स्टार्टेड विथ अर्कुट, राइट? यु नो अर्कुट?
अफ कोर्स आई नो अर्कुट।
अर्कुटबाट सुरु गरेको नि त। सो द्याट्स व्हाई आई थिंक जर्नलिजम वाज डिफरेंट एट दैट पॉइंट अफ टाइम नि।
I'll admit to something even more embarrassing. I didn't start from Orkut, I started from High Five भन्ने थियो, remember?
No, High Five was there, brother, but High Five was slightly high-fi नै थियो, but for people like us it was Orkut.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, then Facebook
High
came.
Five चाहिँ अलिकति कम्प्लिकेटेड थियो नि त, अर्कुट चाहिँ सजिलो थियो। It's like Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, fine.
Many people find Instagram complicated नि त, Facebook सजिलो, त्यसले अर्कुट was more सजिलो।
Okay. मलाई दुईटै complicated लाग्छ, but anyway, moving on, right? So once you got into journalism, did you look to get degrees from for it, or did you just continue with
No, I continued because I felt
you never so you never felt the need for a degree.
Look, I think मलाई अहिले पनि के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि I get so many interns who have done their masters in mass communications and all, they come to us and the first thing I say them is it's okay, you should hold a degree, right? It's important, but the actual learning happens on field.
Absolutely.
Actual learning happens on field. Until and unless you don't go on field, you don't build up your network, you don't build up your sources, your degree is not going to be any use.
I have seen all your videos, okay? I don't know what are you? Are you a journalist who does dancing on the side? Are you a dancer who does journalism on the side?
I have to face it, right? Because एउटा चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ when it comes to Sikkim Chronicle, people say I'm in that serious mode, donning serious,
exactly.
I'm talking on issues, I'm talking. But when they come to Instagram, they see me different. But I believe this is what I am. I cannot And which rule says that journalists can't dance?
This is what I was getting at. Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's all about breaking the stereotype. I mean, journalist भनेबित्तिकै खादीको कुर्ता, चप्पल फाटेको कुर्ता, झोला बोकेको, that is the imagination and presumption which people make about journalism.
Thank God I didn't wear my kurta. You're literally body shaming me.
So I know.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I think do whatever, right? Do whatever, but do it with passion, with intent, and with your integrity.
No, you know what? When I started this podcast, right, a lot of people were saying, "Ke bhako professor bhayera," but I was like, "Why not?" Right?
Which rule says does
exactly
podcast चाहिँ गर्नु पाउँदैन?
त्यही त. And with you, I'm sure there must be so many people who are saying कि एउटा journalist भएर serious किन नभएको.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
So you don't care about
initially I used to get those comments, but is my dancing affecting my credibility as a journalist?
Not 1%.
Not 1%.
Yeah.
So, मतलब के अरे जर्नलिस्टहरूले जर्नलिस्टको चाहिँ जुन ट्रेट्स छ त्यो ट्रेट्स सबै त्यो ट्रेट्स चाहिँ के भन्छ मैले यता डान्समा मिक्स गरेको छुइनँ अथवा डान्सको ट्रेट्स मैले जर्नलिजममा मिक्स गरेको छुइनँ नि त हैन ओके हैन भन्नु द्याट इज माई टोटली टू डिफरेंट पर्सनालिटी नि त and people like me as a dancer also, by the way.
I like you as a dancer. But the thing is, before we move into this section, and it seems like a whole different Pandora's box that we need to get into. We'll move outside for that, eh? Let's explore this place. It's actually quite nice.
Absolutely.
Marinas.
Let's go.
No, I was just saying, Kere, we moved to a different part of the marina. And you know, the manager was telling us something very interesting that this is what, a
70 years old.
70-year-old.
It holds a, like, a legacy,
Oh, and it's a.
And the property is good, eh? Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
My first visit.
Really?
Never.
For those of us in Siliguri, this is regular. But if you're in Sikkim, you should come here one day.
Yes.
All right.
Beautiful property.
You know, before we move on to your thing, there was one thing this is more from a personal point of view. I had never seen violence in politics in Sikkim. A lot of violence in politics in Darjeeling. And just now when we're coming up, it just hit me. Yeah. Do you think there's a rise of violence in politics in Sikkim, or is this just normal and it'll just disappear?
अब यस्तो हुन्छ नि during election it's a regular thing. I mean like हुन्छ. I mean violence मतलब the intensity of the violence जुन छ it depends on that, right? अब what you categorize is as a violence त्यो माथि पनि depend गर्छ नि. जस्तै अब तपाईले if a person is beaten up, right, then कुन चाहिँ लेभलको भायोलेन्स हो, गाडी जलायो कुन चाहिँ लेभलको भायोलेन्स हो, मान्छे मार्यो कुन चाहिँ लेभलको भायोलेन्स हो. सो फर्चुनेटली यो पालिको इलेक्सनमा चाहिँ देयर वाज नो मेजर भायोलेन्स व्हिच लाइक cost a human life, something like that. So छुटपुट त भइ नै बस्छ. And it's a regular thing which happens.
Did it happen before in the earlier election, or is this a new thing that you're seeing right now? Yeah, हामीले थाहा नपाएको.
हैन अब यस्तो हुन्छ नि अहिले चाहिँ पहिला पनि हुन्थ्यो तर कति रिपोर्ट हुन्थ्यो कति रिपोर्ट हुँदैन नि त. सो इभेन्चुअली त्यही कुरो त आयो नि त हैन. तर अहिले चाहिँ अब 2014 देखि यता चाहिँ मेजर भायोलेन्स आर बिङ रिपोर्टेड बिकज अफ द प्रेजेन्स अफ द डिजिटल मिडिया एभ्रीवे. नाउअडेज एभ्रीवन इज अ रिपोर्टर. यु आर विथ अ क्यामेरा देन एभ्रीवन इज अ रिपोर्टर, राइट? सो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि इट्स नट द्याट. एन्ड आई थिङ्क भायोलेन्स हेज अलवेज बिन द इन्टिग्रल पार्ट अफ द इभल्भिङ पोलिटिक्स. मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्छ.
Alright, just last political question and then we move on. Yeah, how do you view the SKM period of Sikkimese history? Look, it is a historical era when he's able to.
So SKM had come with this promise of parivartan, So 2019 SKM formed the government. तर बिचार अनफर्चुनेटली उनीहरूको लागि 2 years त दे कुड नट प्रुभ देमसेल्फ बिकज अफ COVID-19 भयो होइन. COVID-19 ले गर्दाखेरि काम गर्नु उहाँहरूले पाएन. तर वाट आई फिल इज लाइक दिस गभर्मेन्ट डिड एकदमै राम्रो वर्क when it comes in terms of health infrastructure. Because I think COVID came as a big lesson for the Sikkim government in terms of starting many ICUs in district hospitals and coming up and developing the medical and infrastructure, health infrastructure in hospitals. Yo ramro gare. Although they have fallen flat, I think when it comes in terms of tourism. Alikati tourism ma focus less bhako jasto malai feel bhayo as a journalist, because that was not prioritized भनौँ न हैन. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अरुमा एडुकेसनमा राम्रै गरे उहाँहरूले. एडुकेसनमा दे वर्कड अन primarily they focus more on health and education भनौँ न.
अच्छा. I was in Darjeeling just today and it was so big. I'm not trying to, because this is the only thing you can flex in front of.
This is a real fact that most of the tourists are now taking alternative Darjeeling, maybe because of many reasons and many issues. One being the latest one.
I mean, it's also closer,
It's closer and
Sikkim is like what, 5 hours from Siliguri? Yeah.
Closer, फेरि हाम्रो road condition ठिक छैन नि त. हैन?
Wasn't there a whole concept of building tunnel? This is what I used to hear back when I was.
No, tunnel is about the railway project which is coming up.
You think it will help the overall, connectivity with Sikkim when that happens?
Slightly.
Oh, they won slightly. Well,
massive expect गर्नु सक्दैन slightly चाहिँ.
So SKM for a second term?
SKM for the second term, if comes, then should work on the reformation of many policies. It should work more on strengthening the bureaucracy. It should remodel actually the administration. मलाई त्यस्तो लाग्छ क्या. Should work more on reforming the governance. This is what is much needed. Yeah.
Your political question you dodged, right? Cricket ma I know you don't like cricket.
No, I don't watch cricket.
No, I wasn't about to ask you on cricket. I was just saying cricket ma first 3 over is slightly difficult to play.
Ask me about Hira Mandi.
You want to go there?
No, I'm just kidding.
Bebojan.
This
Yeah.
web series
Actually,
is
you watch a lot of web series, right?
I do, and my latest is Hiramandi, and
You liked it?
Sanjay Leela Bansali takes us to different world.
He does.
It seems
He
like
kills the historian in me, but yeah, otherwise.
I know, but the way he tells the
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
and I feel like I'm reading a novel. क्या अब Shakespeare को novel
oh,
or हुन्छ नि त्यस्तो अब I go to that world. क्या I'm a big fan of his work.
You know, my daughter loves Ira Mandi, yeah, and they've been annoying me to watch it, but any other.
Other version.
We should recreate a scene at the end of this. Acha, एउटा कुरा भन्नुहोस् न. What about other series? What other series do you know? Top 3.
I love this Delhi crime,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
a money heist.
Ah.
Oh, like in Hiramandi, there are many. Yeah, I mean, like
But Money
I'm a
Heist.
movie buff, and like
Money
I
ha-
like
Mon-
content
yeah.
cinema. Even I love
Yeah.
this Lapata Ladies.
Lapata Ladies is so
Beautiful
beautifully.
message,
I
nee?
know,
Oh
my God.
And look,
Yeah.
this non-performing actors,
Oh.
like non-actors giving such a brilliant performance,
Oh.
and the storytelling.
I know. Ira Mandi, you want to go on a little
Oh,
bit more about.
Sajini re.
No, you know what? With Lapata Ladies is, and if you compare it with Hira Mandi, yeah, is this glamorized world versus the extreme real world.
Reality.
Right?
Reality.
And Money Heist Professor is what I tell my friends I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I plan crimes.
Interesting.
I know. That's not what I do. Game of Thrones, not a big Game of Thrones fan.
I do like about this team of fan.
Really?
Because
Less
I
to me, but anyway.
important politics.
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
But my forte is like human stories.
Yeah.
My forte is about telling a story of struggle,
Yeah.
story of triumph. Of a common person.
So I'm going to ask you a Karan Johar question. Yeah,
Rapid
the
fire.
Four Khans. Four Khans. Which one do you prefer?
Irfan Khan.
Oh my God, you flipped it up. Okay, Irfan Khan over Shah Rukh and Amir and all of that.
Of course, because
That was a big loss, wasn't it? I mean, my
it
God.
was. But I find that nuances of Irfan in his son Babil. He's brilliant, no?
The railway man is acting.
Railway man
the
and
accent the accent that he catches.
And there was another series, no? This बिखरने का मुझको शौक है बड़ा वाला.
गाइदिनुहोस् न त.
Oh, I'm a very bad singer.
अरे के हुन्छ?
Singing चाहिँ म सक्दिनँ हो.
Dancing
Dance
गरिदिन्छु
राम्रो
है. Babil Khan, you like Babil Khan?
Brilliant. I think he was in Darjeeling few days back.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was shooting for one web series
Oh yeah.
in Tagda.
Is there too many web series going around, or?
But it's good, na?
It's good, I guess.
People have choices, na?
Yeah.
At least जाके वो बकवास वाला picture तो नहीं देखना पड़ेगा where there is no
बिल्कुल.
content and only where they talk about machoism and all, no?
Speaking of machoism, when it comes to our region, Sikkim, Darjeeling, दुईटै भनौँ न, there is so much of hyper masculinity around. Right? I was talking to these kids, I was giving my speech, and I was saying, when I was most पढ्दाखेरि नि, my biggest fear was केटी जस्तो भन्छ भनेर क्या. यसरी पनि बस्दिन थिएँ क्या म. I had to sit like this हुन्छ नि, the man spread. क्या त? So, when so much of masculinity is going around, right? How do you, who's into dancing and all of that, do you get that from people sometimes?
Absolutely. I have always been bullied for being slightly affirmative in my character, right? Because
whatever that shit means.
I mean, there was a time when I was in school, मलाई डर लाग्थ्यो क्या स्कुल जानु नि, because I used to be named and they used to call me Shri Devi or maybe Pansy, I grew up listening these words and it used to really hurt me and it instilled a sense of fear on me, ला म आज स्कुल गएन मलाई उयो गर्छ भने. So I used to dance heavily during my school days and I left that. I completely left that when I reached
There must have been
around
so much of taunting, isn't there?
too much of taunting. And in class 8 पुग्दाखेरि, then I said I'm not going to dance and I try to act like I'm a macho, a man, and I'll talk about football, cricket and all. I'll try to not be what I am. But I think that was the totally wrong decision which I was taking up during the discourse of my finding my orientation, right? So मलाई के लाग्यो भने चाहिँ नि, when I started working I was happy that something was missing on me. Then one day I realized that what was missing on me was the dance. मलाई त्यस्तो लाग्यो क्या मतलब I'm not complete भन्ने मलाई feel भयो क्या. Then I started making reels and reels त थिएन पनि त्यति बेला. I used to make videos, short videos and put it in Facebook and all. Then people used to appreciate, some used to bash me up, and every morning I used to wake up with this comment saying like chhakka hi jada, pansy, keti jasto naachyo. But does that matter to me now? It doesn't, because what matters to me is my inner happiness, contentment, and why should I be affected mentally, I mean like mental health wise, to a comment of a person whom even I don't know, who is even not my friend in an Instagram? Why does it affect me? It shouldn't, I know. You should be, I know. What matters is you as a human being, Nita, I know. Okay, no, understand. What matters is you as a human being, Nita, I know. This rest, everything is like, I think it's bullshit. We judge people so easily on Instagram and social media, and there are people who gets affected terribly. Tara म चाहिँ भन्छु, it shouldn't. Because what matters, core of the heart मा तपाई कतिको खुशी छ, कतिको satisfied छ, that matters, and your orientation is none of others' business.
Exactly. Why do you want to know what is my orientation? I know. Like Chanel also said the same thing. I do believe you.
See how good human being you are. Exactly. Why are you saying the orientation? Does that matter at all?
Exactly.
I know. Where are we still as a society? I know. मान्छेहरु कहाँ पुगिसक्यो, कुनी के भइसक्यो हो, and we are holding back in that orientation part. मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्छ, I don't know.
As somebody
and I don't care also.
As somebody who reviews, people's writings and poetries and etc., there are two moments that just stood out for me from what you said. One, you said you had given up the dance and you felt something in you was killed, and you brought it back and you became Nirmal Mangar. And you do not care what anybody else says. Nirmal, I just want to give you one.
Be you are rather than desiring someone else.
Beautiful.
That is more important.
This is not the end, but I really want to argue.
Beautiful. Well said. That's more important.
Right? The more important question, right? Not important, then important. You're a big foodie, aren't you? The moment's got a little
How
tense.
did you know that?
I saw mukbang. What is it known as?
Mukbang.
What is mukbang?
Mukbang is a simple video where you keep lots of foodstuffs and you just eat, and that
people watch that.
Yeah,
you can earn money off that.
Yes.
Why am I doing professor then?
Listen, especially जब तपाईलाई भोक लागेको हुँदैन, go to YouTube, watch any mukbang, तपाईँको appetite बढिहाल्छ.
हो र?
It's like the sound is so intimidating, chok. It's so intimidating, honestly.
Anyway, what are you a big pork person? Because I am.
I love pork ko khutta, I love pork ko belly, whatever.
Yeah. Khutta kachar.
Ribs.
Okay. All right.
त्यो त हाम्रो पहाडीहरुको त
Yeah, of course.
यो नि हो नि त.
Of course. Raiko saag and sungur. Hi?
I'm craving now.
We will eat that in a while. So, I do cook a little bit, yeah. And I was wondering next time you come, I have you over at my place, okay?
Oh, you want me to cook?
No, I'll cook.
Oh,
I cook. Oh.
Okay. Then it's okay.
And maybe we can do a mukbang video on that, right?
Yeah, but I'm on diet slightly early. I'm in a weight loss program.
So am I.
So are you. So evidently.
Listen, you're body shaming me.
Sorry.
No.
You look good.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It looks like a consolation prize, but anyway.
But I felt like, you are one of the coolest professors in NBU.
You heard it from him. What NBU? Not Sikkim University.
I don't know. Did you work in Sikkim University?
No, I never did.
You never know?
I came for an interview, they rejected me. Anyway.
Seriously?
Yeah, your loss. No, I mean, okay, before it creates another controversy. I was very young, I didn't have my PhD, but I wanted to come give an interview because, you get that experience, right? It was a fair system. And
you were also in JNU, right?
I was in JNU. Shit, that was... Did you come to JNU ever?
No, never.
You would have loved that.
I think recently one of our guy from Sikkim
हजुर.
has been appointed as a assistant.
Yeah,
professor
well, look at me forgetting his name.
there. Even I forgot his name. He's from Namchi.
So sorry, bro. I know your name. I was nervous. Anyhow, so what are your plans for, I mean, now we have to get into this whole, I'm students and I'm into questions. So I'm just a little greedy. I just want to get, each question in before we do that. Yeah. So what are your plans now in the future, especially with regard to Sikkim?
Expansion of Sikkim Chronicle.
Yeah.
So definitely, I mean, like, if you don't have expansion or scaling up plan, then you come to that saturation point, stagnation. So what we are looking is now we want to venture and penetrate to the northeastern states. So basically, we are looking like to establish our office here in Siliguri.
Okay.
And to come up with Northeast Chronicle,
Oh, great.
which caters like news from all the eight northeastern states. This is our long-term vision, and we have slightly started working on it.
Okay.
So let's see how it goes.
Well, you coming to Siliguri will be, great boon for.
Who knows? I'll be like based here in Siliguri also.
At Marinas.
At Marinas.
Brand name.
Maybe I'll be taking your interview, huh?
Okay, maybe I'll have lost a little bit more weight then. Yeah.
No. You're looking good.
Thank you. You heard it again. Eh? So, anyhow, so should we get into the question answer the bandina, but just
Interaction.
Interaction with our students, right? So usually we have this section where we get our friends, and they are also my students, and this whole thing is actually happening for them, right? So that in future they take over this entire podcast. So this section is over to them, and we'll start with who, Nikita or Nikita? Yeah.
So, my name is Nikita.
I couldn't hear that. Can you do it in a sign language? Come on.
My name is Nikita, and I'm from Strategic Area Studies, PG student in university, North Bengal University. And my question is, what is your worst experience during the field of journalism? If like coming youth journalist face those kind of situation, how could they handle that situation?
So you mean to say like my worst experience every day? So the intent of a journalist is to serve a good story to its readers and audience, right? That is the most important thing. And in my career and in my workforce, like सबभन्दा डिफिकल्ट चाहिँ हामीलाई वर्स्ट एक्सपिरियन्स चाहिँ कति बेला हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ when we report basically something which is like inhuman and which has denied justice to the people, right? That is more important. किनभने हामीलाई थाहा हुन्छ है, हामीलाई थाहा हुन्छ ग्राउन्ड रियालिटी के हुन्छ, तर हामीले जब त्यसलाई अगाडि ल्याएर पनि जब त्यो मान्छेले जस्टिस पाउँदैन नि, त्यति बेला चाहिँ हामीलाई एकदमै नराम्रो लाग्छ। अनि अर्को कुरो चाहिँ कति बेला हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ when we are not getting the actual and the factual information, किनभने अर्को कुरो चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि धेरैले चाहिँ जर्नलिस्टको काँधमा बन्दुक राखेर पड्काउने पनि गर्छ।
Why are you looking at me?
No, I'm just like so थुप्रो हुन्छ आफ्नो आफ्नो मतलब डेफिनेसनमा छ, तर मलाई चाहिँ लाग्छ कि when you see that the person or the victim is not getting the justice, अनि मलाई worst चाहिँ कति बेला लाग्छ भने when I report on especially crime against women and child. Sikkim reports so much of POXO cases, I mean like अनि it's because अब एउटा एस्पेक्टले हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब रिपोर्ट हुँदैछ केसेस हैन, तर अब माया लाग्छ नि कति चोटिमा चाहिँ because these victims comes from a very vulnerable background of the society, so it pains actually. Journalism नि मान्छेले भन्छ कि it's so lucrative like profession, you got to come in front of camera, you get all those glamour and all भन्छ कि, but in reality when you come it's totally opposite. It's like such a painful, you have to work meticulously on your news, on your story, हैन? त्यो छ क्या, मतलब एकदम अहिलेको त्यो corporate journalismले अर्कै पेन्ट गर्दैछ कि, but that's not the actual journalism. Yeah.
Hello sir.
Hello.
My name is Riya Sherpa. So मेरो क्वेसन चाहिँ के हो भने तपाईँ अलरेडी भनिसक्नु भएको छ कि एज अ स्टुडेन्ट तपाईँ जर्नलिस्ट वर्क गर्नुभयो नयुमा च्यानलमा, सो तपाईँको एज चाहिँ कति थियो होला अनि अनि what inspired you?
नो इन्सपिरेसन वाज द्याट कि मैले जर्नलिजम किन चाहिँ छाने भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ मेरो त्यो इन्ट्रेन्सिक इनबिल्ट एउटा क्यारेक्टर चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ आई लभ टु टक विथ पिपल एन्ड आई लभ टु नो मोर अबाउट द पिपल राइट सो यो हिसाबले हो भने त म एन्थ्रोपोलोजिस्ट हुनुपर्ने हो तर मलाई सानोदेखि नै आई वाज सो मेस्मराइज्ड सम हाउ विथ दिस न्युज एङ्कर्स क्या बिकज you know NDTV was there I guess the way Barkha Dutt reported Kargil war and bought all the you know the war in your sitting room bedroom that was I think the triggering point for me that war journalist नभए नि म journalist चाहिँ हुन्छु भन्ने थियो नि हैन तर it was like how to start and when to start थियो so fortunately when this Nayuma started the news section then I was one of the boys giving audition अनि त्यति बेला कति थियो होला मेरो एज त that must be I must be 19 something like that 1920 something 1920 yeah 1920 थियो होला
Also adding to that, what do you think is the biggest challenge for journalists in today's generation?
in today's generation सबभन्दा ठुलो जर्नलिस्टको लागि च्यालेन्ज त्यही हो फेक न्युज fake news is the biggest challenge because every 5 minutes you get fed with the information through WhatsApp University, right? Ani challenge चाहिँ journalistलाई के हो to debunk whether the narrative or whether the story which are being circulated in WhatsApp is true to the fact or not and to report it accordingly after talking and getting the right and the factual information. So I think मलाई काहीँ न काहीँ लाग्छ कि fake news चाहिँ अहिले पनि जर्नलिस्टहरूको लागि किनभने your credibility is questioned no उसले त यस्तो 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 यो यस्तो यस्तो छ त तिमीले किन यो रिपोर्ट नगरेको भन्छ नि तर पिपल डजन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द्याट अ गुड जर्नलिस्ट निड टाइम टु introspect on your story to pick up your story you need to talk to the authorities you need to talk to your sources you need to confirm the news then only that's why we are journalists na हैन त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ to tackle the fake news is like you know biggest challenge.
Thank you.
Hello sir, my name is Angel Thapa. So my question is, how can you ensure your reporting is balanced and fair?
Well, I think the insurance comes from the public because eventually it's the people who will decide whether your reportage is balanced or not, right? So as a journalist, what I feel is like, you know, यो एउटा question के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ this always questions the credibility of a journalist क्या because journalist यस्तो छ कि अहिले the term which has been coined Godi media has so seeped into people and that's good also because that has given a new layer of thought process you know amongst the people to discuss on journalism okay na भन्नुस् त okay हैन so that is like
I'm agreeing.
you're agreeing he's agreeing so मलाई लाग्छ है कि के भन्छ एउटा good journalist will always try to bring a balanced reportage a balanced news हैन and it's for the people to take out the interpretation from that हैन अब मैले नि if my intention of bringing up a news is not clear if मैले एउटा hidden agenda अथवा propaganda लाई लिएर मैले न्यूज बनाए मेरो आर्टिकलमा हाले भने people are very smart there was a time when newspaper मा न्यूज आयो भने त्यसको letter to the editor चाहिँ एक हफ्ता बाद आउँछ but the empowerment which digital media has given is right on the face right on the comment box you can counter your news journalists cannot escape on that part that is the empowerment which comes from the digital media and I'm so happy that people expresses हैन नभए चाहिँ हाम्रो हिलको मान्छेहरुको चाहिँ के छ भन्दाखेरि नि rest in peace good job congratulations is the only thing which our people like you know but I feel like why can't we express our opinions that's so important right what is media and what is cinema and what is art it's a reflection of the society मान्छेले भन्छ नि मिडियाले कुनी के गरेन कुनी के भएन भन्छ so media is showing the reflection of the society so we need this society we need these civil society people who introspects discusses हैन on the issues that is more important हाम्रो चाहिँ के छ ला मैले केही अलिकति क्रिटिसाइज गरे भने पोलिसीलाई गरे भने मलाई एन्टी गभर्नमेन्ट भनिहाल्छ आई विल बी गिभन द्याट पोलिटिकल ट्याग भन्ने चाहिँ हाम्रो हिल्समा एउटा मेन्टालिटी छ नि त वी हेभ टु डु अवे विथ दिस feel free to express your opinion. That is so important. दिल्लीमा किन के भन्छ इलेक्सन यति डरलाग्दो भाइब्रेन्ट हुन्छ बिकज पिपल दे टक्स अबाउट इस्युज गिभ मी रोड गिभ मी बेटर ड्रिङ्किङ वाटर गिभ मी एडुकेसन फेसिलिटिज हेल्थ आई विल भोट फर यु राइट तर त्यो मेच्युरिटी चाहिँ हाम्रो हिल्समा अहिले आउन बाँकी नै छ एन्ड इभेन्चुअली आई थिङ्क अ बिग ओनस लाइज विथ द पिपल अल्सो
Well said, sir. Thank you.
थ्याङ्क यू
Hello, sir. My name is Prashanti Mukhia, and my question to you is: has there been any case in which you while reporting, while doing a political report, you have faced backlash or controversy or even pressure from the political parties?
Look, this is every time you get a pressure, right? Because look, if I'm reporting for the ruling party, then there'll be a section of political parties who would say like, okay, you are biased towards the ruling party. So if we report on the opposition, then it would always be the ruling party will be saying like, you know, oh, acha, he favors the opposition party. So this is a backslash which comes in a profession like journalism, right? सबै जर्नलिस्ट हुन्थ्यो होला नि त होइन सबै जर्नलिजम हुनु किन सकेको छैन नट एभ्री पर्सन इज अ सक्सेसफुल जर्नलिस्ट बिकज दे इन आवर प्रोफेसन वी हेभ टु टेक दिस बिकज लुक वाट आइ एम सेयिङ इज द्याट क्रिटिसाइज मी अन माई वर्क फ्रन्ट प्रोफेसनल फ्रन्ट आई विल टेक इट आई सुड हेभ द्याट अडासिटी टु टेक द क्रिटिसिजम बिकज इभेन्चुअली फर अस द रिडर्स एन्ड द अडियन्स point of view matters. I know. So it totally depends on the perspective of a reader and the audience whether what kind of journalism we are more engaged into. That is more important. So त्यही भनेको मैले अब what is the definition of a balanced reporting or you know as far as you said that political यस्तो धम्कीहरू आएको त्यस्तोहरू केसेस हुन्छ हैन हुन्छ तर the best way is to ignore and the best way is to again prove yourself by your work. हो त्यो हुन्छ नि अब डेफिनेटली अब मैले भने नि अघि नै जर्नलिजम र पोलिटिक्स त एउटै पोइन्टको दुईवटा साइड हो नि त सो दिस फ्लिप भइबस्छ इट सुड नट अफेक्ट यु एक्चुली
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. My name is Anisha Rai, and my question is, what was your first major news cover, and how did it impact you?
I think as a reporter, you know, when I was reading news, then I started with Sikkim Express in 2005. I think the moment of my best reportage is when I got this opportunity to report this historic opening of Nathula trade, you know, after 44 years, like, you know, because we know that after 1962 war between China and India, the bilateral trade had completely come into a halt, you know. But in 2000s, I think it was in 6, something like that. जब 44 वर्ष बाद खोलियो, then I got this opportunity to cover the news, which in fact made a huge headlines in national and international media. And the first time going on a border, seeing the counterpart Chinese media reporting, you know, the event, I was like, like, you know, I mean, like, I was swelled with pride, you know, I mean, like, wow, this is what I wanted to tell. And then rest followed, like, you know, there were many cases we reported and we covered the historic Mansarovar reopening, COVID pandemic, the glove, 2011 earthquake. I think every report of mine has given a new perspective to understand, you know, society in a different way, for me at least. मलाई त्यो लाग्छ कि तर इनिशियली तपाईँले सोध्छ भने चाहिँ बेस्ट मोमेन्ट चाहिँ मेरो लागि चाहिँ त्यही थियो बिकज there was whole new, like, you know, topic which was there, the bilateral trade, you know, the list of items to be exported, the list of items to be imported, the Chinese translator, the Indian translator, the whole hula boo, like, you know, so interesting, very interesting. Yo, what's like त्यति बेला चाहिँ मलाई.
Thank you, sir. Hello, sir. I'm Gayatri Rai, and I want to ask, what is the secret of your energy?
What is the secret of my energy is that my parents says I was born with battery on my mouth. That's a joke apart. I think secret of my energy is I'm not boasting myself, but what I have realized in my life throughout these years is that don't pretend to be someone else. Pretend to be yourself. It's okay. तपाईँ मोटी छ, तपाईँ लुती छ, तपाईँ नेप्टी छ, तपाईँ गोरी छ, काली छ, doesn't matter. That is so external thing. but eventually what matters is like how satisfied you are. And मलाई चाहिँ एउटा कुरो के लाइफमा खुसी लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I never feel like I'm working, you know, because journalism was what I always wanted to do. So end of the day when I put my head on pillow, एउटा satisfaction sip हुन्छ क्या हो भित्र, wow, you did a good job. This satisfaction makes me like, you know, energy follows.
You're born with a battery in your throat, but
I'm
no filter in your mouth.
No filter. Unfiltered Nirmal.
Thank you so much, and I'm sure as millennials, we can agree this is as good as the Gen Z
Lovely
can
questions,
do.
lovely
Thank you.
questions.
Clap from our side together.
Bravo.
First of all, thank you so much. Yeah, you've been so kind to our students. You've taken their questions. You've
No,
encouraged
they
them.
they asked lovely questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, on their behalf, thank you so much. But I just want to end with a few questions. End the novice जस्तो पनि लाग्छ तर अब
क्या करे समय की पाबंदी है
वही so last or 3-4 topics that I just want to get into, and the first one being the issue that you and I were discussing off air, right? The LGBTQIA plus. How do you see you spoke about acceptance, Nikita, and it was, might I again, go back to how beautiful that monologue of yours was, yeah? About how you overcame bullying, how you got dancing back, and now you know what does dancing mean to you, right? It makes you who you are.
Very integral part.
There is no Nirmal Mangar without the dance, right? But there is an who cannot accept their reality, who are being oppressed.
Cannot come out of closet also.
Exactly. यो कुरामा यो विषयमा अलिकति भनिदिनुहोस् न सिक्किममा चाहिँ कस्तो छ या
मलाई के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि look, I have seen the phases where, like, you know, LGBTQIA issue used to be the topic, hush topic. बेसी फोरममा बात गरिन्थेन है तर thanks to this group of people who came together and registered this organization called Rainbow Hills. They basically work on the welfare for the LGBTQI communities, from, like, you know, counseling them, for providing them, like, you know, a support, maybe like a moral support or encouragement, you know. So I think Darjeeling Hills, when it comes in terms of this, like, they have an organization, right? So अब चाहिँ मलाई के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि हामीले बेसी एक्सेप्टेन्सको कुरा गर्यौँ अहिले हो अब कतिजना क्लोजेटमा छ हैन तर थ्याङ्क्स टु दिस गुड कन्टेन्ट लाइक यु नो सिनेमाज स्पेशली इन वेब सिरिज एन्ड अल वे एभ्री वेब सिरिजमा काहीँ न काहीँ गएर एलजिबिटीक्युआई को इस्युलाई सेन्सिबली विथ भेरी सेन्सिटिभ लाइक यु नो टच एड्रेस गरेको हुन्छ नट लाइक वाट वी स इन जर्ज मुभी इन लाइक Dostana and all, like,
and movies play such a big role.
Abo
Dostana it was a complete
mockery. It's a mockery of the community, right? So thanks to this cinema and thanks to media, which now has been bringing all these issues, अनि अहिले अब the stories of LGBTQI transgenders हरु हैन थुप्रो आइबस्छ नि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि people, I think, hillsमा are open up and, like, you know, fine, but now the time acceptance छ तर सेकेन्डरी छ तर प्राइमेरीली अहिले केमा चाहिँ फोकस गर्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ what would be the rights, privileges, you know, and what would be the policies for the LGBTQI community. यो चाहिँ on table ल्याएर डिस्कसन गर्ने चाहिँ इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ because after acceptance what? After acceptance comes the real survivability. Absolutely. Right? And जबसम्म एउटा concrete policies बनिँदैन जबसम्म एउटा enshrined के भन्छ एउटा rules बनिँदैन भनौँ न हैन तबसम्म I think the community is still vulnerable हैन कहिलेसम्म ट्रेनमा मागेको उयोहरू मात्रै गर्ने हो नि त हैन very few privileged LGBT community members who have made it big नि त तर I'm sure, like, you know, more discussions, deliberations and discourses needed.
No, that's absolutely right. And the point is, the way you answer each question is a mic drop. Yeah, our follow-up question garum भन्ने पनि I don't want to sort of spoil that moment.
मेरो नाक खोलिरहेको छ
No, but if I may just get into this now, there's also the aspect of people मान्छेले पनि यो privacy भन्ने कुरा पनि बुझ्दैन नि. What is your orientation or not your orientation is goddamn your business and nobody else's business, right?
Until and unless you are an adult, consensus, like, you know, adult, right? What you do in your bedroom is none of
anybody else's
business.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
हामी चाहिँ त्यो छ नि त I don't know, we live in a society where, like, you know, we are more interested in to know about what is happening in someone else's life than in your own life, right? So I think अब त्यो त हाम्रो अब ट्रेड चाहिँ हो, अब हाम्रो ह्युमन ट्रेड चाहिँ हो, तर आई थिङ्क मलाई के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ कसैको पनि सेक्सुअल ओरिएन्टेसन वेदर यु आर गे, बाई, लेस्बियन, एसेक्सुअल, हेट्रोसेक्सुअल, होमोसेक्सुअल, that is their personal choice.
Exactly.
Right?
That does not define how they do their jobs
No.
or how they have other relationships.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Look how these people are coming in the mainstream.
Absolutely.
Right? They are like coming in the mainstream, working. कुन चाहिँ क्षेत्रमा चाहिँ छैन अहिले?
I mean, there is Priyam Yonjon from the
Priyam Yonjan is
My
there.
God, yeah.
You know, there are so many. Or Queen Andrew is there.
Yeah.
And so many people are doing so good in their business and professions.
Absolutely.
And that should be the talent which you carry. होइन?
Only.
The gender doesn't matter, yeah.
Exactly.
How does it matter?
Well said. Acha, तपाईले speaking of Priyam and all of these people, they seems to अब LGBTQ आएमा त के सोध्नु, you've already given a mic drop answer, right? I just want to know, there seems to be, and I asked this to Augie as well, that there seems to be a mushrooming of influencers in Sikkim, right? There's Augie, there is of course the most popular being Iksha Kerung, and then there is Insane, Instaman. You must Padam. I love Padam. So hold it. but tell me, who's what are the reasons for the sudden mushrooming of all of these influencers in Sikkim, and who is your favorite?
Look, I think the easy access of the internet is one of the reasons.
All right.
Ani, the prime reason of rising, I won't say mushrooming, but rising,
yeah. That would be a
influences
better word.
or like the Instagram handle was during the COVID time.
Yeah, all of them.
When we talk about the genesis of Padam, then it was through COVID time when first Sungurko Masu Payo wala video dekhi viral bhako hunta. So I mean to say like maybe the easy assessment of the internet. Ani now the more convenient is that you can earn through your content, you know.
True.
And there are different layers like through which you can monetize your videos.
Absolutely.
तपाईं एउटा भिडियो बनाउनुहुन्छ, हाल्नुहुन्छ, तपाईले इन्टरनेटबाट त पैसा पाउनुहुन्छ. Seeing your talent, you are invited to a program, an event where you get paid, and there is like एउटा glamour छ, and there is the identity छ, and you become that voice also. But I feel like ठिकै छ है, तपाईहरुले कन्टेन्ट हाल्नुहुन्छ हैन, हाल्नुहुन्छ, तर let's not forget our like basic responsibility of what you are imparting to your society. Time and again चाहिँ तपाईको कन्टेन्ट बाट चाहिँ at least a good message should go to like
maybe not in all videos, but
there
at
is
least
this
one.
guy, YouTuber Ted Kunchok.
Okay.
You must not be knowing. He's a Tibetan like a vlogger from Dharamshala.
Okay.
And like he does all this social work, अब के भन्छ गएर गरिबलाई हेल्प गर्छ, and he makes a beautiful vlog of that. And there are people like who come in and says like, if you are doing good thing, why are you like showing it in a camera? My point is like यदि कसैले राम्रो गर्दैछ भने र भिडियो हाल्दैछ भने, that is not to only do his publicity, no, but it's the idea is to also replicate the action what he is doing, right? त्यो छ नि त. So मैले चाहिँ भनेको look, you are expert in your own genre, but let's not forget our basic intent that what society is reaping and benefit through your content. That is more important. That is more important.
Your content ko kura garदाखेरि ni, I think there's nobody who symbolizes women's strength than Iksha Kerung.
Exactly. We are so proud of this girl. Look, I mean, coming from such a humble family background and from one of the villages in West Sikkim, and making to an international event, brand, walking along Shahruk's daughter Suhana. This brings pride to us.
Absolutely.
And we never, sometimes हाम्रो society के छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ we fail to give that validation to these people.
Absolutely. I mean,
do you agree?
यही म भन्नु आएको थिएँ. There's been a time when we forcefully made a very mediocre singer win a national competition, and Iksha she's a boxer. She's a rider. She's a policewoman. Exactly. She has done films. Exactly. And she has endorsed many cosmetic brands with Suhana Khan and others. And with my favorite PV Sindhu, right? Yes, I mean, yes, PV Sindhu. When we speak of role models and the kind of people that we get, how internet may play a very important role, then Iksha Kerung seems to be the most, right?
Honyo.
You know
And
about-
she
yeah,
is idolized by many.
Right, right.
I mean, look, when we अब अहिले women empowerment त मान्छेले क्लिसे भन्छ होला है तर एक्चुअल अब डेफिनेसन चाहिँ मलाई यो लाग्छ कि वुमेन एम्पावरमेन्टमा खालि हामी इक्वालिटीको कुरा मात्रै गर्दैनौँ नि त विथ मेन राइट बट दिस इज अल्सो अबाउट द अपर्च्युनिटी वाट यु गिभ टु अ काउन्टर वुमेन नि त द्याट इज अल्सो मोर इम्पोर्टेन्ट
Absolutely.
राइट
And how, discrimination in any form has to end. Speaking of discrimination and victimization and women issues, there's another issue. I'm taking from this, off air, because you make so many interesting comments, even off air, that I can't help but sort of, poke you again and take, that information again for the camera. You spoke about POXO and the rising POXO. That's a very, very alarming thing happening both in Darjeeling, Kalimpong, as well as now you're mentioning in Sikkim. As a journalist reporting over it, this must be very disturbing. Okay?
Look, I think what I feel is like POXO was happening like, in our society, but was not getting reported.
Well said, well said.
So now it started getting reported, but look, the agencies, the government is not that they are not working. But I think you need to come up with a new action plan to combat, like, because स्कुलमा गएर तपाईँले नानीहरूलाई ब्याड टच गुड टच त सिकाउनुहुन्छ नि
हो नि
होइन तर आई थिङ्क मोर देन स्टुडेन्ट इट्स अल्सो द पेरेन्ट्स हु निड टु बी गेट एजुकेटेड
absolutely well said.
द कल इज अन द पेरेन्ट्स
I'm a father, okay?
टोटली
And what you say is absolutely true. It's you नानीलाई एजुकेट गर्नुभन्दा ज्यादा पनि I think parents need to be
पेरेन्ट्सले गर्नु पर्यो नि अब मेन्स्ट्रुएसन हाइजिनको केसमा पनि त्यही छ नि वी एडुकेट वुमेन नोज अबाउट इट ओके इट्स वुमेन नोज अबाउट इट बट द मेन निड्स टु बी अन्डरस्टुड अबाउट द मेन्स्ट्रुअल हाइजिन नि त होइन देयर वाज अ टाइम वेन हामीलाई मेन्स्ट्रुअल हाइजिनको के भन्छ उयो आउँदाखेरि के अरे अवेरनेसहरू आउँदाखेरि केटाहरू चाहिँ सबै बाहिर जानु केटीहरू मात्रै बस्नु भन्दै बट द्याट वाज अ रङ अप्रोच
I'll tell you one more
Totally
interesting
wrong.
thing. If you remember Whisperco ad money, I don't know why they had to make the liquid blue, and not red.
yes
Isn't
Exactly.
it? त्यति त गर्न सक्दैन, isn't it?
अनि why there is a need for a father to switch off the channel when there is a PAT को advertisement running on television?
Exactly.
We have to talk openly, na?
Absolutely.
Stigma, discrimination हटाउनु पर्यो नि हामीले.
I think we've gone a little bit into millennial mode. In Adelaide, I don't think there's TVs anymore, right?
Yes.
You guys have your personalized. Now, speaking about the future, I would be remiss if I did not bring into the question of natural disasters. And you have been applauded, as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. Podcast again, golf, right? Beginning of this golf that of the wonderful work you did during the last glacial lake outburst. Are we going to see more natural disasters happening in our side of it?
Look, I did a recent interview with the officer of this state disaster management. And Sikkim government has written a letter to the National Disaster Management Authority stating that 19 lakes in Sikkim, which are situated at North District and West, are very, very vulnerable. And they need to be a very intense study on that because I reported Lonark Lake expansion way back in 2013.
Really?
Yes. There was this guy, Sonam Wangchuk, the glacier man.
Yeah.
He had come in 2015 and siphoned the water from the South Lonark Lake because Lonark Lake was expanding abnormally.
Yeah.
Very abnormally,
Yeah.
giving triggers of like, this, what you say, warnings and all.
Yeah.
Right?
And just for those of you who don't know, that's the lake that.
That's the lake which got like, the glove happened in South Lonark and which caused disaster. Like I think still 65 people are missing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
if you ask me what is that thing which you don't again want to report in your journalism career is the 2011 disaster of earthquake and glove. I don't want.
त्यो खालके journalism. I mean, त्यो खालके coverage again.
No. Never.
So you were saying Sonam Wangchuk and they were already saying the lake was expanding, was it?
Not only Sonam Wangchuk, but Sonam Wangchuk led a team to siphon the water.
Okay.
But before that, NDMA had and SDMA, Department of Science and Technology, had done this because they had installed the automated weather station, through which this this characteristics of a lake could be monitored.
And you're seeing that there are how many lakes that are at risk at the moment?
19 lakes.
19 lakes. Like Ronak, my God, that's a scary detail, isn't it? I mean, we at the Center for Himalayan Studies as well, you know, we do disaster related issues, and you're right. The situation seems to be quite grim.
Yes, it was very painful to report on human loss, to see people searching for the missing and beloved ones, seeing people like their houses were washed out in a blink of the eyes, you know.
कस्तो चाहिँ हुन्छ होला अब जिन्दगी नै
कस्तो हुन्छ अब people were weeping, and you know, I would like to narrate one anecdote related with this. First time when I reached Chungthang, because Chungthang ko beach ko dam डल्लै थिएन, एकदम gorge थियो, अनि bamboo bridge बनाएर then we crossed this bamboo bridge, and when we went there, and these residents of Singtam were waiting us helplessly with full of tears in their eyes, and like I was like behind the camera and I was like weeping, and it was like very spontaneously, like, you know, यति डर इमोसनल बस्ट भएको. मान्छेले भन्छ कि जर्नलिस्ट भएपछि इमोसनल हुनु हुँदैन भन्दा, तर दे आर सिचुएसन्स वेयर यु क्यानट कन्ट्रोल सिइङ, मतलब रात उनीहरू अब दे आर जिरो है, नथिङ, सच अ पेनफुल अब.
And as a journalist, that's not something that you want to again do.
Never. I don't want to report this kind of disaster ever. Because once you are on field, you will realize the intensity. Terrible.
Because we are still watching it on screen, Nita.
Exactly.
It's the sad note, Mata. You know, because we're coming to the end of our conversation, and as somebody who's been researching in the Himalayas, and as somebody who's, been reporting on the Himalayas, I think both of us can agree that climate change is a very, very real thing.
And I think we human are responsible for it.
Absolutely.
We blame, like, you know, it's the entire human system who needs to be blamed, you know. जति नै climate change conventions गरे पनि, do it Davos, do it whatever, but eventually I think it should come from within, you know. That's more important. And we human have become so greedy that we take climate on toll, you know.
My goodness, let's not end it on this sad note. We have to end it now, but I don't want to end it on such a sad note. Future, it's the grim कुरा नगर्नुस्. Where do you see yourself? I mean, I know it's a cliche question, but you must have some plans for expansion for your own Sikkim. As you said, you want to bring it into Siliguri. Where do you see a phase where Sikkim Chronicles becomes the biggest sort of news outlet in the Northeast region?
I think every father wants their children to be successful, like, you know, a person in life, right? So it same applies with Sikkim Chronicle, right? You want your kids to be the best of the best persons in their life.
And
so
Chronicles
that's
is
a
your
human,
kid.
that's a human, like, you know, tendency that I want to see Sikkim Chronicle growing leaps and bounds.
I'm sure it will.
Sticking with the ethics of the journalism which we are doing, right? And until and unless we are, like, you know, I mean, ethically right, core of our heart, any criticism is accepted, right? We don't have qualms on that. But I want to see Sikkim Chronicle, like, you know, I mean, अब डरलाग्दो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर नि डेभलप भएको त म भन्नु सक्दिनँ, किनभने इट्स अल अबाउट यर कन्टेन्ट टेलिङ एन्ड स्टोरी टेलिङ, होइन? सो त्यही हो, म त्यही हेर्न चाहन्छु, एटलिस्ट नर्थ इस्ट क्रोनिकलसम्म चाहिँ हामीले हाम्रो
it was not one question that you dodged, not one. And I tried to bring in a few, you don't like cricket, but googlies भन्छ नि हामीले क्या त. You have answered all the questions, and you know, we admired you before. And now that I've spoken to you, my God, the admiration has gone through the roof.
Thank you so
Nirmalji,
much.
thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting.
And
And congratulations to the Himalayan Society.
Thank you, guys. That's a wrap, bhai. Dance is high, Bangi.
Yes. Thank you.
Dami. Got a photo,